we have coming to us from Australia. And guys, if you would please, go check out Alexis Romano. Go check out what she's all about. Go, look at her posts. She posts some awesome stuff. So does the next guest, who is from Australia. And we are grateful for you joining us, my friend. Thursday morning for you. That's Jackson Parr. You there, Jackson?
How you doing?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm glad I didn't come up with.
Oh shoot! Hold on, I clicked the wrong button. Hold on there, bud. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. I hit the wrong button.
Good, all good.
Sorry, you said you're glad you what?
Well, I was like, man, I don't want to come up with Mimi. Like, how do you follow up Mimi? And then it's like Alexis Romano. It's like stuck between a rock and a hard place over here. But I'll do my best.
True.
So, no, I'm feeling
That's
great.
True.
Honored to be here.
Where are you calling from?
So I live in Sydney, Australia. It's from the future. It's Thursday morning. The world's still going, so nothing to fear.
That's great. And who was it who had shared ER Shred with you?
Yeah, so I was over in Orlando. When was that? Last month at our convention, and the Whedons ran into me. Just like it was in intermission, or I think I was going to the bathroom, I can't remember, and just like grabbing me by the arm and shaking me like, you've got to see Rick, you won't recognize him. I'm like, okay, and saw him and he looked great, and they were talking about ER Shred, and I was like, who's ER? Like, I never heard or understood or anything like that. And they were like the shock on their face that I'd never heard of it. And then my shock that they were shocked that I'd never heard of it. But they, we were kind of heading back into the room. So like, I was like, just message me what the hell you're talking about. And I told them both, I looked in the eye, I said, don't forget, make sure you like message me what on earth you're talking about. Because they just mentioned incubated shakes. I'm like, what on earth is that? And then they mentioned meat, and I was like, anyway, message me the details. Of course they didn't, which I'm glad they didn't, because it meant that they were just having the best time at celebration. But just like Alexis was saying, so I took it upon myself, and later that night I went down the rabbit hole, and I missed the top 100 dinner because I was just in my hotel room watching YouTube videos, and that's kind of how I was introduced to it.
I just so dig you because you're just so honest.
I was hooked. I mean, I think a lot of people in Isogenetics have that all or nothing gene. So I didn't just want to learn a little bit. I wanted to kind of learn what the hell is going on.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, brother. So what's your passion?
My passion, obviously Isogenics and helping people. But outside of Isogenics, we just got a puppy this year who has become my life and my world, and why I do this business, to like give her everything. So my animals and Isogenics, and like it goes with Isogenics, but just health and nutrition in general. Is kind of like a huge passion of mine, which is why I was so curious and I enjoyed going down the rabbit hole. It wasn't like I was going down the rabbit hole of, I don't know, something that I'm not really that interested in. It was because it was also health and nutrition. That's just what I read for enjoyment anyway. So yeah,
your story, it sounds an awful lot similar to Alexis. We all have very similar interests, and that's so cool. And the puppy, what kind of puppy?
We got a Chow Chow. I never known what a Chow Chow was until my wife said we're getting her. But yeah, she's my world. So no kids either, like Alexis, but she's my kid.
Cool thing about this is like people think we're crazy in ER Shred because we eat meat, right? And but like we're not that crazy, and we do like funny things, like we say, you got to move for 10 minutes a day. You got to move your body 10 minutes a day. Like we're not that extreme or fanatical. 10 minutes is not that much. And then we have other directives like, do you have pets? You need to play with them every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, do you have a book? You need to, hey, pick up a book once in a while and actually read a
Yes.
paper book and put that device down. Like, go on the devices with intent. Don't just go
Mm,
get lost. So
mm.
I love that you have the pet. That's fantastic. I think we're all going to go to Jackson's page and look for your pet now. Is he all over there? Your pet? What's the
Oh
name?
yeah. Oh yeah. Winnie. She's all over it.
Winnie's all over the page. Okay, so you dive down this hole of research, and then what unfolds? Like, did you then embark upon it? By the way, shout out to Rick and Natasha Whedon for sharing with
Yeah.
Jackson Parr. That's amazing.
Um, yeah, so I was like very, very skeptical of like carnivore or keto or things like that. I've tried it before. Um, I'm qualified. I went because of IGNX. I got a bunch of nutrition degrees and nutritionist and all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, I mean, I wasn't going down the rabbit hole to like find something wrong with it, but I was just like, I don't understand. And I found, because I think I just went to YouTube, because I went to the Facebook page and I saw you had to be approved. I'm like, well, I'm not waiting around. Like, I'll just go to YouTube. Um, and I think I found you and your beautiful wife, you were all dolled up. So um, I can't remember which one it was, but you shared that you had to stop using the isogenic shake. And I never told anyone that, but I haven't been able to use our shakes in about probably 3 years. Obviously, it didn't start that way because the shakes changed my life. That's how I was able to have the passion to share isogenics with everyone because I just love them so much. But it just got to that point where about 3 years ago, like I just have so much gas and bloat, it just became not worth, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth drinking it. And then every couple months that I'd have nothing in the cupboards, I'm like, oh, I might as well have a shake. I'm hungry. And it just like, man, this sucks. So that I just, I thought it was other things. Maybe I'm allergic to like dairy or something. Who knows? You get all these wild things. And so when you shared that, that got me in the door because then I was like, I don't know, it just felt like I had common ground with yourself. So I was like, okay, now I'm like fully open, I'm fully listening. And you watch the video, you were talking all about it, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. I think I learned very early on, like before I was in my 20s, you can find evidence that being a vegan is the best thing ever, and you can find evidence that it will kill you. So you should never like just go on evidence because anything can be proven, like water can be proven to like be dangerous. So, but it was all making sense enough for me to want to try. And then I watched a video with Jesse, and like I was fired up. I was like, I watched that video, I think it went an hour. That's why I missed top 100. And like I was pissed off that I was in Orlando and I wasn't at home so I could start. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna be over here another 4 days. But I started in Orlando, just started to just try the high protein. I've always eaten meat, not like Alexis. Like I've lived on meat and protein because I'm a big boy, and so I need a lot of protein. So I've always eaten a lot of meat, but I also was eating a lot of vegetables because that just made sense to me. So I just started while I was in Orlando cutting out the vegetables, but just eating a lot of meat. And so like we were staying at the Rosen, and like I'd go to the buffet and I'd just eat bacon and eggs, which I felt it was amazing. But usually I'd get, I'd try and get all the veggies and load up on potatoes and all that kind of stuff. And that gave my first insight. So I was in Orlando for a week, and I was like barely sleeping, drinking a lot, eating a lot. And usually, I'm not exaggerating, when I go to America, I put on about 10 pounds a week. It's just eating American food and obviously being on holiday, and I'm a big human. Like it's just easy 10 pounds without blinking. And I only put on 2 pounds, and I was going for it as well. So that gave me like, man, is there something there? So anyway, it came back. I started my first day back in Australia, just started the 11 days, and I was just blown away by how I felt, the energy. I mean, it feels like the way I was raving about it, it sounded like I had some monetary interest in it because I was like I had 20 different benefits I wanted to tell people about. But I wasn't telling anyone what the hell I was doing. So, because I was unsure and I didn't, I understand my influence, so I don't want to say one thing and then I change my mind or anything like that. So, yeah, I started coming up to only 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And man, I'm forever grateful the Whedons were rambling something to me in a busy hallway.
Isn't that great? And so give us, you are a highly influential person. And so I understand how it feels like you can't be authentic and you kind of have to hide that you can't use the shake. That's not a good feeling. And so thank you for being honest about that. I have so much respect for you and I'm so excited. Have you been able to use the shakes with the incubation
Yes.
in the meats?
So again, I wish my wife was here because she could back up. Like I would fart about 20 times a day. And for we've been together for 5 years, so at least 5 years. And it was just always that's just normal. You know, you're a big guy, you go to the gym, you eat protein, like it's just normal. Like that, it is what it is. And as soon as I came back from Orlando and started incubating, I went from not having any shakes, and I was still really gassy. So it wasn't just the shakes, but I knew they didn't sit well because I would start not feeling well and I hadn't even finished the shake yet in my hand. But it went from that to like, again, I'm not exaggerating. I haven't passed gas in 3 weeks now, like since I've been back. And I've been having 2 shakes a day, which again, I was having 1 shake every couple of months. And so been having 2 shakes a day. So it's like I'm doing Isogenics all over again, which is really exciting. But then also just the bloating and the gas. It's weird, but I wish my wife was here, she went out, but it's just night and day. And it's one of those things like now that I'm not feeling that way, it's like, what were you doing, you idiot? Of course something was wrong if you're farting 20 times a day, but it's just when that's how it is, you kind of just accept your own reality kind of a bit. But now I'm like, God, you're an idiot. Of course there was something wrong.
I felt the same way. I
Yeah.
felt the same way. The exact same way. And, you know, in your case, your wife is probably the biggest fan of ER Shred.
Yeah. She is. She's not doing or anything like that, but she's definitely encouraged me to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, and in my case, you know, it goes both ways. My wife was a vegan and she was cracking them 20 times.
Yeah, you mentioned in that video. I remember that.
What other things have you noticed? Anything else?
Man, say that again.
Anything else you've noticed? Have you noticed anything about more steady energy?
So definitely energy, definitely just steady energy. Again, I came back from Orlando just on fire to begin with, but I know eating well, a massive thing for me, which I can't put in words, is I know everyone thinks they have a sweet tooth or they've got the biggest sweet tooth, but my sweet tooth dwarfs anyone's. Like there is no way I'm walking past like a muffin and not walking in that shop and getting a muffin. Like there's no option. Cakes, sweets, pastries, all that kind of stuff. And since doing ER Shred, I wish I should have looked up the date. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, whenever we got back from Orlando. Like there's been I'm glad my wife isn't here because I can say she Uber Eats 3 times a day. She gets Uber Eats for her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She just doesn't cook or anything like that. So I'd always usually grab something on whatever she's ordering, or if we walk past something, grab something. And I didn't eat anything sweet or pastry or anything. And it wasn't because I was like trying to do that or like I was forcing myself not to do that. It just purely was no interest to me anymore. Whereas before it was like, I just couldn't not walk past cake or something. Whereas and this was like my first week and it just continued. There was no urge, there was no craving is obviously the probably common word, but and it wasn't because I was like having a mental battle with myself. Come on, Jackson, you should know, come on. It was just like, it was not even an interest anymore. So that was another huge thing as well.
That is huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
And that's born of satiation. That's just
yes.
That's the miracle.
See if Tony
Yeah.
says something.
Hold on one sec. There you go.
All good.
Jackson, I want to have you, if you're willing, just to close with same kind of thing I asked Alexis, because, you know, we want to reach as many people as humanly possible. The model that we use, you know, relationship marketing is just that. It's how we can reach more people. You know, can you speak to that? You know, I've been reading some of your posts. It's phenomenal stuff. I mean, it's some of the best stuff I've ever read.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm not a suck up. Like if you talk to our most loyally our shredders, like I'm not a suck ass. So I mean it. It's some of the best stuff I've seen. And what would you say to those people about the opportunity that's available to them to share the shred with other people?
Do I have it right where people watching this call are they're just here for the products and the community and they're not sharing, or they are sharing as well, or a mix?
It's a little bit of everything.
Awesome. I always try and work backwards. So I always think, why wouldn't someone share? Because that's usually the best place to start, because why wouldn't someone, like, it's a no-brainer to help someone, it's a no-brainer to get your products paid for, it's a no-brainer to like earn extra money, it's a no-brainer to leave your job if you want to pursue that. So those are all obvious questions. So I always start with, why wouldn't someone share? And the number one reason doing this 10 years is people kind of are worried of what other people think, is usually the number one reason, the fear people have of what will people think or anything like that. And so, you know, a topic on that is a 10-hour call. But if I just share like how I got started with the Whedons, it wasn't even that Rick's transformation. Obviously he looked amazing, but I've been around Isogenics for a decade. Like, I've seen incredible transformations. So it didn't knock me away, but it was just their passion and their excitement that got me. It wasn't his result, or it wasn't they promised me anything, but I could see in both their eyes and their voice and just what they were saying, that they believed and they were excited so much, and shocked that I'd never heard about it. So that's what got me in the door. It wasn't that they were making any money, or it wasn't that they promised me something, or it wasn't like Rick's transformation was the best thing I've ever seen or anything like that. It was just they were authentic and genuine and really excited and passionate. And that drew me in, and I believe and I know that draws everyone in. So Alexis nailed it, where if you are in your head a little bit about sharing it with others and what other people think, just take the spotlight off you and place it on others. And remember, there are like, how many are on this? There are 30 people on this. There are way more people than just 30 that are uncomfortable in their bodies, or have digestion issues, or menopause, like Alexis was talking about. There are so many people out there that are going to bed praying for something like this, or going down their own rabbit holes trying to fix their problem, but they're not coming up with something like this. And then the other thing I would think about is just ask, what if someone ever shared it with you and you weren't on this call, or you weren't winning the heart of ER Shred, or you weren't involved in this community? Like, think from that point of view. And whenever you think like that, it's like, man, I would hate that person if they didn't share it with me. Like, how selfish that they wouldn't have shared this with me. So I would share those kind of concepts, because getting out there, and there are plenty of people that won't want Isogenics, won't want ER Shred, but there are also plenty of people that will kill for this, that won't believe this exists, like I did until I watched some videos. So yeah, you're definitely doing a bit of a disservice not sharing with others. And don't worry about the people that it's not for, just worry about the people that it is. And yeah, the financial side of Isagenix can change your life just as much as the ER shred side.
So cool. So cool. And just going to have you, if you can speak to it, your success in the industry, this industry, do you mind speaking to that real quick for people?
Yeah. So I'm 34 now. Excuse me. So I started when I was 24. I said no to Isagenix for 2 years because I thought, what a load of shit. Just like I thought, what a load of shit when I heard of ER shred and eating meat and incubating, but lucky it didn't take me 2 years. It only took me that night. But I said no for 2 years. And then I finally found out I had a money back guarantee. And then I was like, why didn't someone say so? Like I would have started 2 years ago. So I started when I was 24 for both. Like I think I shared one of my passions is health and fitness. So anything in that space, like I'm all about, but also I was working too. I was a minimum wage warehouse worker. And because I was working minimum wage, I had a second job and I was looking for a third job. And, you know, it's crazy to hear like Alexis talking about creating wealth to like help everyone. Like I just needed to pay rent. Like I just needed to just get to the next week. And so that's where I came across Isagenix because I was in a spot in my life where I was looking at working in sex shops or the grocery stores because you can do midnight shifts. And I was like, well, I already work during the day and I already work at night. The only other time I've got to give is like that midnight shift. So I started applying for those jobs. And then I realized, I'm like, well, where am I going to sleep, you idiot? So that's when, 10 years ago, it was a little bit ahead of the curve compared to now where I was like, I need to work online because that's the only way I can create money and income because I'm already time poor. I don't have any time to give. I can't give my midnight away. And whereas now, internet's where it's at, baby, working from Wi-Fi, Zoom calls, all that kind of stuff. But 10 years ago, I was like, I need something from my phone. And so, yeah, I pursued network marketing, Isagenix, and I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think I made my first million my second year, and then it's just created an incredible life for myself. My wife also does network marketing in another company. Like we think network marketing is the best vehicle on the planet for the average person. And I'm definitely an average person, and the kind of wealth and education and just choices network marketing can give you and Isagenix can give you, you just can't get access to that if you don't have a rich family or something like that. So that's why I love it so much, where for the average person, you've got a clown, a warehouse worker, a teacher, a book, like it doesn't matter. For the average person, this is how you can create that wealth and that time and that freedom. So yeah, that was with Isagenix, but I started sharing from day one. So it's no problem if you are taking your time, you just got a little bit of time to catch up, but it's no, what's the right word? It's no hurdle that you've taken your time, because when you do start to share, and if you haven't been sharing for a while, you're just going to come across as super authentic, because when those people join Isagenix and they start sharing right away and saying it's the best thing and they haven't even tried it yet, people can smell that from a mile away. So if you've been on the fence about sharing, or maybe you've been dabbling, but you're wanting to make that choice to like go all in, you have nothing to fear, because that will come across so authentic that you wanted to take your time and really find something that you believe in and that works, and that you have overwhelming evidence that can help so many people.
Dang, I love that, man. I love that vote of confidence. Thank you so much. I want to
Oh, my
invite you as
pleasure.
well to bring what you got and all your good stuff and offer it up to the community. You're going to have a lot more. You're going to have a big fan club from ER Shred now, which, you know, I'm all for it, because you, Alexis, like you guys for me are tip top in terms of who I respect and admire. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for obviously doing the ER shred. But one thing was so obvious when I was in my hotel room, like the amount of effort you guys had put into the guides, the tools, the videos, the posting. Like it was overwhelming slash, man, like I've dropped the ball. Like I haven't done this much effort for a lot of things I've done with my team. So it was super. Um, it just made it seem so much real because you had obviously, like, your life was in this bad boy. So yeah, thank you for all the time, effort, and obviously I know you'd say it was a joint effort. So thank you for, I mean, Jesse in the video he did, and there were just so many people. I watched your videos as I was going down my rabbit hole, and yeah, it made me pissed off I wasn't back home in Australia so I could start right away. It was funny.
All right, Jackson, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I have a feeling Jackson's going to be a household favorite. I just enjoy the hell out of him. And I also